Okay. Want to make this video real quick because it's been an idea I've had since last night, or something I want to talk about. Because I'm coming to realize that if I'm going to make these videos, it best not just be a big old waste of time. I'm trying to fix the adjustment here, but it shouldn't. These videos shouldn't be just a waste of time, me rambling. Maybe it should be something that can help somebody out there or do something meaningful. But since new year, new me or whatever, I decided to really hammer home the whole no wiggling the wanger, okay, or viewing the tatas, okay. I don't want to be too graphic here, but you get what I'm saying. And we're on the 12th day here now. This ain't the longest I've gone. Longest I've ever gone, 1 month. And I was just thinking last night how all of a sudden I have this creeping feeling of loneliness, Like this kind of like slight anxiety or social pang in the heart that kind of makes everything feel a little disrupted, like always just having this perpetual feeling of longing. And I was just kind of sitting there thinking like, is this just because, I haven't been talking to a lot of people or something? Well, no, it can't be that because my circumstances haven't really changed. The only thing that's changed is this thing. And then, of course, I started thinking about the classic line that's always used to sort of hint at or be like an innuendo used to refer to a man touching himself, which is like, oh, he was feeling real lonely. And I always thought for years that was just a gay little excuse to justify being a degenerate. But then I started thinking about it. Well, the act of doing that thing has to produce chemical, like hormones or whatever, that relate to the act of bonding. And so then I looked it up and go figure, okay. The hormones that govern your feeling of relation of whether or not you're lonely or not are governed by things like oxytocin, like serotonin, okay. And so if your whole life, with me, for example, you've been essentially dousing yourself with this artificial oxytocin and serotonin, bonding, basically, through viewing these vile images and abusing yourself, no wonder when you start to get off it, you get overwhelmed with this feeling of loneliness, And so I just kind of come to this conclusion I've always had for a while now, where when it comes to the physical feeling of emotions that we go through, not the intellectual noetic feeling of emotions, I can feel sad. You can feel physically depressed, tired, anxious all the time. And then you can just be depressed because it's oh, hey, I lost a family member or a project didn't go my way, And so I think it applies also to the loneliness thing that a lot of people suffer from, which is just, not suffer from, but when they're going through the process of quitting this vile addiction, is you're experiencing just a hormone downshift, or rather you're kind of seeing what was already there but was being covered up for your whole life through this act of abuse. And that kind of makes me start to think of how would my life had gone had I never been indoctrinated into it using this material in the first place. Because then I remember I went through high school, and I never in high school ever had any problem, ever had this thought in my head of, oh, I'm so alone, oh, I have no friends, oh, I don't talk to anybody outside of school at all, in my mind I was hey, I feel fine, and I'm socially fluent when I'm actually there, so what do I need anybody for? But go figure, now here I am in the clearer state of mind where there's nothing artificial seeping in to block what's really going on here, and I'm sitting here, I'm thinking yeah, shit, dude, I do want to go out and see people, I do want to communicate more, I do want to be a little bit more involved in things beyond just my work or my school, But yeah, so I guess that's just the kind of interesting thing I want to talk about, is that the loneliness thing is simply it's just chemical. It's just a chemical, hormonal bullshit reaction, and it will pass, It'll all go away. Every single little doubt and feeling, because I'll be honest, dude, I've been being flooded, bombarded. You'd think there's a succubus on my back right now, Cheap Trick. Okay, I got a Cheap Trick succubus on my back right now, just pulling back on my eyelids like this, oh, just go and look at the titties, But all those feelings, that anxiousness, that longing, that'll all go away, and you just gotta trust the plan, like a good QAnon user. Just trust the plan. Just trust the plan. Everything is going perfectly fine. But it is, you know. That's not a cope. It's just the truth. Everything is going fine. But yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. That's it. See ya.